You are listening to the Maple Footy Podcast, the unofficial football podcast of the North. I'm your host, Sam Little. Find me on socials at SamLittle44 and the podcast at Maple Footy Pod. And now there's nothing left to say except for sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Maple Footy Podcast. As you well know, the unofficial football podcast of the North. And, of course, I know most people dislike international breaks. And from a club-level supporter, I don't like international breaks either. But as I supported the Canadian men's national team, I gotta tell you, I love international breaks. Something about seeing Canada play together with top talent. I absolutely love it. Remember, just about 10-ish years ago, you probably even argue like 7 years ago, we didn't look forward to international breaks. We actually were like, I'd rather. We're not that great. Now, I'm man enough to say I look forward to international breaks. Yeah, as a supporter of a club, no, I don't, because I don't want to see players get hurt, and it seems always every international break, 1 or 2 players picks up a big time knock. Hopefully that's not the case this international break, but obviously that's sadly part of the game. But anyways, long tangent over. The international break means Canada are playing, and they just played Romania, and they won 3-0. Canada, our boys in red did it. I thought we were good. I thought there was definitely still some things that need improvement for sure. No performance is really ever perfect. I mean, that's a lie. There have been some perfect performances. But you get what I mean. There's always something to improve on. So even in this 3-0 win, we will talk about certain things I wasn't a massive fan of that I would still change going forward. But obviously, as well, it was a 3-0 win, which means lots and lots of positives. Pros, you could say, and the negatives we could say are cons. Yes, that is leading me into the pros and cons section of this podcast. If this is your first time listening to a breakdown of a singular game for the men's national team, I go pros, cons, player-by-player breakdown from goalkeeper to attack, then the subs, and then we call it a day. And in there, I sprinkle in other things as well, because I tend to go on some tangents for certain things. So let's get to it. Let's start with the pros. Pros, our first win on European soil in, was it 16 years? I think I saw the stat was. Oh gosh, I can't get the first thing wrong. Yeah, winning on European soil as the away team, as a non-European nation. Yeah, that in and of itself is a pro. I know it's a friendly. We're not playing for anything. We have already qualified for the World Cup. This isn't a Nations League. This isn't Gold Cup. Obviously, it wouldn't be because we're playing European team, but you catch my drift. It's not a competitive match. It is a friendly, but regardless, a win is still a win, and it is good to, I guess, get that monkey off our back, because going forward, I would like to see us play more European sides. Obviously, a lot of European sides are kind of tied up with qualifying for the World Cup, so, it may not be super easy. But yeah, just going forward, I think we benefit from playing these teams, even dating back as far as the Netherlands game. Yes, the Netherlands game where we lost 4-0. And the France game where we drew 0-0. And now Romania, now Wales. I'm happy to see our boys get these chances to play in front of big European crowds. Show what we can do, because there are still people that don't rate us. And don't get me wrong, I understand we're not Germany, we're not Brazil, but I do think we are a solid team, and I think it's good to get the spotlight on us, and I think that Wales game will be very big for us, I think. Maybe that's just me being optimistic, but I've learned to be radically optimistic. So, but you weren't expecting to do a Lipa reference in the Maple Footy podcast. But no, seriously, I'm choosing to be optimistic. I think this Wales game is a big chance for a lot of our boys to shine, and I think that's going to be a great crowd. The Welsh crowd is almost always a good crowd, so I think it'll be really cool. And yeah, really looking forward to that, and very much look happy with a 3-0 win. Another pro, Maxime Crepeau. Yeah, if you are a listener of this podcast, don't get me wrong, I do rate Dane St. Clair, but Maxime Crepeau is the keeper I back. I just think he's so good, especially for Canada. I called him the Canadian Buffon in the past. I have a lot of nicknames for a lot of the boys, as if I know them on a personal level. But no, I was happy to see him get the start. I know Jesse Marsh had said before the two games that Maxime was getting one and St. Clair was getting one. I think Maxime looked very good when called upon, made genuinely a world-class stop on Dragouche when it was still 2-0. So there was still a fighting chance for Romania. Had that gone in, it could have been a different game. And that's what you need from your goalkeeper. Even though he wasn't tested a whole ton on the day, he made saves when needed to be made, was called upon, and did well. You need your keeper to be locked in literally from minute 1 to minute 90. And that is exactly what Maxime Crepeau gives you. I just think he's so good. And I put him up there with some of the best in the MLS. I know right now he's not starting for Portland, which is mind-boggling to me. As I've always said, it sucks that we have two Canadian goalkeepers playing for the same club team because it means that one of them is always not going to play, which is a big-time shame. But regardless, Maxime Crepeau, one of the best in the MLS. I'm going to lay it on the line right here. I think he's the best in CONCACAF. I don't think there's a better goalkeeper than him in CONCACAF. And I think he's a very good goalkeeper. Great shot stopper, pretty good distribution, and you can count on him to make at least one clutch save in a game. Most likely he will make more, though. And that's what you need from your goalkeeper, especially heading into a World Cup. These are the reasons why I still back Maxime Crepeau to be Canada's number one. Obviously, I don't have a say in that. So I'm just a guy with a microphone, and you are just someone that is taking the time to listen to me. So thank you very much, because I hope that you agree with me on Maxime Crepeau. And if you don't, I would love to hear who you think should be the starting goalkeeper. DM me. Let's get social. Maple Footy Pod. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, just drop a comment, because I know podcasting platforms don't have like a comment section. Other pros. Ali Ahmed. Very good performance. I thought he was up there for our man of the match. And I honestly probably would say he was our man of the match, if I'm being honest. That was very good. I expressed concerns about bringing Ali Ahmed, and it was never about his level of player. He's a great player. It was the fact that he's just coming back from an injury. There was moments in the game where he looked a tad rusty, but that's just really nitpicking at that point. But regardless, I thought it was a very good display from him. He looked very exciting, bursts of energy, bursts of pace, but very also technical on the ball. Looked very good on the ball. Obviously grabbed a goal and an assist on the day. His first goal for the men's national team, so congratulations to him. And on another day, maybe he grabs a couple more assists, because he was creating some very good chances. Played almost a nice ball to Tani Oluwaseyi. That's where I thought you saw the rustiness a little bit. When Oluwaseyi was kind of running through on goal, Ali Ahmed had the chance to play a through ball, but of course, I think his rustiness kind of, it showed really there, and that's about it. But yeah, I thought Ali Ahmed was quite good. Final thing, for the most part, I thought this was just overall a great team performance. I wouldn't say it's a 10 out of 10 performance. As I said, I think that there is still a lot to improve on here. I would give us a solid 7.5 on the day. But I thought overall it was a great team performance. But with that being said, I will say kind of, I guess, what deducts those few stars for us. So cons, I just thought at times it looked like we were kind of shutting off. We got a little bit too comfortable, a little bit sloppy. Eustachio a few times gave the ball away. DeFuzero, I thought, looked a little bit lackadaisical at times. And just not to center those two out, because I think most players kind of fell suspect to that a few times. Tani, I thought, was very much a floater on the day, kind of a non-factor, if you will. And you can't have that when you're facing anyone. And now I know we kind of got away with it because we were up 2 to 3, depending on the time of the game, 2 to 3-0. So, you kind of get comfortable. But my point is, in a World Cup, when you're facing, I don't know, even like a Germany, Portugal, Argentina, France, who have like facing top teams, if you turn off for a second, they're punishing you. Wirtz is licking his lips at Eustáquio playing the ball out sloppily from the back, as he did a couple of times. You know, a world-class winger like a Mohamed Salah is feasting on Larea, who shut off a couple of times. Larea, in all fairness, I did think had a pretty good game, but there's those times where it felt like he shut off a little bit. You know, they're feeding on stuff like that. So you just got to be careful with that stuff. That's really my main concern. I will say I think this is the first time I'm going to say I don't think our midfield looked overrun. Then to immediately take that away, I don't think we looked overrun because Romania just didn't really pressure our midfield. I don't think that this was we finally solved our midfield woes. I think it was more like our midfield wasn't really tested. I'm a fan of both Eustáquio and Kone. I just don't think they gel super well together. And I don't know if that's a hot take or not. So that's a con, actually, as I move into this one. That's a con for me. Eustáquio and Kone, there's something about them doesn't click for me. And maybe that's just me. And it's nothing to do with either of them as players, because I think individually they both offer our team a lot. Eustáquio offers us so much in possession. Kone also offers us a lot in possession. My issue is kind of out of possession. I think Eustáquio is a bit more mature out of possession than Kone is, but obviously Eustáquio is a few years along in his career. Kone, he does track back. He does make some runs, but I just find he's not as much of a factor off the ball as he is on the ball. And Eustáquio, I just find he's decent at defending, but you can't really say he's like a defensive midfielder, you know, which is still something I think we need. I still die on the hill. We need another midfielder in there. Obviously, that's not happening. But yeah, I just don't think they gel super, super well together. And like I said, I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I truly don't. If that is, then it's a hot take. If it's not, then it's not. But yeah, that's how I feel about the midfield partnership. And another one, yes, we did win 3-0. This should have been more. And I feel like I say that often with our boys. I just feel like we were kind of wasteful on the day. Like, this was a 3-0 on the score sheet, but I really think that we really should have had like 5 or 6, you know, just based on the level that we were playing at for most of the day. I think it should have been more, and the score needs to reflect that. So I think we just need to be more clinical and more punishing. And yeah, I think that's really my last real con. My only other side note is I wish we performed like this against CONCACAF nations. I know that's not really a con for this game. I guess that's actually more of a pro for this game. We played better against the European competition than we did against CONCACAF nation. Just because CONCACAF, I feel like we really struggle to really crack the code for how to be successful in CONCACAF against these CONCACAF nations. And of course, naturally being in CONCACAF, we play against CONCACAF nations more often. So I really wish that we could implement this kind of intensity of a match for CONCACAF, because we need to do this all the time and not just some of the time. Do you catch my drift? Like, we need to always be up 3-0, you know, and I know that's unrealistic. You're not always going to be up 3-0, but my point being here, we need to look comfortable in games, whether we're up 1-0, whether we're up 2-0, whether we're up 3-0, whether we're up 4-1, 4-2, whatever it may be. And against CONCACAF nations, I find we're not. You get me? But yeah, anyways, I guess that's kind of a mini tangent. This is what I mean, mini tangents. Let's move into the player-by-player, starting with our goalkeeper, Maxime Crépeau. Now, of course, I already kind of talked about Maxime Crépeau and the pros, but yeah, he had a good performance. His distribution, I thought for the most part, was pretty on point. Stayed locked in, made a couple of big saves. The Canadian Buffon was at it again. I just love him. I think, take that out of context. Just the Canadian Buffon, I just love him. And send that to Maxime Crépeau. But no, seriously, I just think he's a great goalkeeper, and the fact that he's not our nailed-on number one is kind of concerning to me, because if you have a guy, and I know I've said this before, so this is really just me repeating from last episodes in the past, he is just so good when he puts on that Canadian badge. He is a different level of keeper when he does that. I would genuinely put him up there like as a top goalkeeper. Genuinely. And I know, Sam, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of biased. You're probably right. It probably is. I'm known for my biases. But I just think he's so good. And the fact that he's not our number one, to me, is just screaming in my face that Jesse Marsh is also a man of his biases, because you just can't watch Crepeau and go, yeah, he shouldn't be Canada's number one. And I genuinely wholeheartedly believe that. If you think that Dane St. Clair should be number one, then that is okay. But I really do think that it's just so clear that it should be Maxime Crepeau. That's just me, though. That save he made, really such a good save. And those are the moments that you need from a keeper going into a World Cup. That's how you know, yes, if and when a team gets past our defense, our goalkeeper has got us. And that's how I feel with Maxime Crepeau. He's just got us. That being said, Dane St. Clair is a good goalkeeper. I just think Maxime Crepeau is just a different gravy for the men's national team. You don't earn the name, the Canadian Buffon, here on the Maple Footy podcast without being that good. Let's move into our defense. We'll start with our left back on the day, Richie Laryea. You know, it was a classic Laryea performance, I thought. He offered a lot going forward, especially in that first half. I will also, just in general, I thought our first half was a lot stronger than our second half. But regardless, Laryea in that first half in particular, I thought was making some very dangerous runs. Him and Ali Ahmed linked up really, really well together. Maybe that comes from Richie Larea's 4-week stay in Vancouver back when he was with the Whitecaps. Yeah, I bet you forgot Richie Laryea played with the Whitecaps. I don't, baby. Yeah, I just thought they linked up really, really well together. He is just that kind of player where it's like, if he's not starting, you're probably going to bring him on. If he is starting, you're expecting a solid 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. And I don't mean that disparagingly. He's just a solid player. There was a few times, mainly in the second half, where I thought he kind of shut off a little bit, letting Romania kind of maybe back into the game. Obviously, it never amounted to anything, but my point being there is you can't do that against teams that are going to punish you, and it has happened in the past, so let's not do that again, please. But yeah, no, Laryea, I thought was just, yeah, he was just good on the day, offered a lot going forward, wasn't super tested defensively, and just shut off those couple of times. Yeah, I love Laryea, so yeah, that's really what I have to say on Richie. Good game, Richie. Going over to his fullback counterpart, Nico Seeger. I still really want to see what this guy can do in the midfield. He's really only played twice for us in the midfield, back in the Gold Cup. We don't talk about the Gold Cup, so I'm just going to act like we've never seen him play in the midfield. You can see it with this guy. You can just see it. You just see, it's like when Kone first came into the national team. I know that Kone and Seeger are actually, funnily enough, the same age. It just feels like Kone's been around forever. But, Seeger, you just see it, proper player. I really wish he got that move away that he was kind of hoping for, whether it would be to the Serie A, the Bundesliga, or apparently Watford also came in for him on deadline day as well, which would have been, speaking of Kone, where he kind of cut his teeth. Very, very good. He just is, especially when he steps into the midfield. I find that he looks more he looks good as a right back, don't get me wrong, but those times where he would step into the midfield, I mean, you saw it with the goal he scored. That was his goal from the build up to the actual finish. That is how you know you have a player on your hands. So yeah, he looked good defensively, but in the midfield, when he got the chance to step in, oh yeah, that's what we need. That's the midfielder we need. I hope we see him play in the midfield against Wales, especially with Eustáquio now being recalled by Porto. We'll get into that a little bit more. I would like to see Seeger get a run out in the midfield. I know we're kind of left not really with main choices in the fullback areas, but I have a solution. Move Laryea to the right and just play Bassong as the left back. There you go, problem solved. Yeah, give me my money, Canadian men's national team. I solved the problem. But yeah, I would put Seeger in the midfield just because I want to see what he could do. I really want to see what he could proper do in the midfield. I don't know who you pair him with. I would lean towards Saliba just because in the Gold Cup, I know I just said we don't talk about the Gold Cup. In the Gold Cup, I didn't think he really linked up super well with Choinière. But that may have just been they just didn't link up well on the day. So don't totally kill that partnership, but maybe just see what he can do with like a Saliba next to him. Or maybe, here's an idea, play all three of them and see what you can do. Oh my gosh, who suggested that? Yeah, I really like Seager. I think he has huge potential. I will say, though, he is going to have to change his number when Liam Miller comes back, because Liam Miller Hive, we're almost back. We are so almost back. Liam Miller is back on the grass. He's been given the all good to go, so that means that 23 is going to be his again, hopefully, as long as Jesse Marsh calls him. So, Seager, I'm sorry. I love you. You look amazing. You're going to need to switch your number, though, pal. But yeah, no, genuinely, I thought Seager, he would be up there as one of my man of the matches as well. I just thought you just see the class that he oozes. Yeah, really looking forward to him develop with this men's national team. Let's talk about the center backs. Derek Cornelius, I thought looked good. He's kind of our underrated, like if all four defenders are healthy, where it's Cornelius, Bombito, Johnston, and Davies. Because Davies is a left back, I'm so tired of us having the debates of should Davies be a left winger? No, Davies is the best left back in the world. Let him be a left back for his national team. Simple as that's where the debate begins and ends. Anyways, sorry, side tangent again. I just saw these debates rearing their heads again, and I'm so confused as to why we keep on entertaining these debates. Please stop entertaining these debates. Davies is a friggin' left back. He has been for years. Play him as a left back. He's the best left back in the world. Play him as a left back. There you go. Anyways, when our defense is healthy, and our defense is not healthy at the moment, Derek Cornelius is usually the underrated guy in our defense, I find. So it's nice to kind of see him get the chance to kind of be the guy in the defense. I thought it looked good. I thought he covered a lot as well for Diffusional. We'll get to Diffusional in a minute. I thought he covered a lot for Diffusional, and Derek Cornelius looks so comfortable on the ball. He's got that distribution factor. His positioning, I find, is also very good, and the way that he kind of knows when to kind of draw a foul, or even on the opposite end of that, when to kind of just go, oh shit, I'm going to have to give away the foul. He's kind of very intelligent in that sense. He knows kind of when to do certain things, and those are the things that as a center back you have to be smart about, and I find that Derek Cornelius kind of picks his spots of when to, okay, you know what, because as we all know, defenders try to win a foul every now and then. I'm going to try to win this foul, and he does it at a smart time, or, okay, you know what, I'm going to have to concede the foul. Okay, I'm going to do it. He's very intelligent with that. He reads the game very, very well. And that's something that you need from your center back. And also, by the way, he just went to Rangers, so he's going to be Alistair Johnston's rival now, which is interesting. But yeah, I thought he was very good. Definitely our most underrated defender when all are healthy. Can I say? Yeah, I'm going to say that. Our most underrated man. His partner on the day, Luke Dufour, I wasn't super impressed. I don't think it was like a disaster class. Don't get me wrong. He made a couple of nice plays, but I just thought he looked like a kid. You know, he looked like he was a 19, 20-year-old. And I know it probably sounds extremely disrespectful. I don't mean it like that. He just looks like he needs more developing. You can see the player there. You can see that there is a player there. And I'm hoping that with this loan spell to Dender, that you do see that player there. He got extended with Fulham and then was sent out on loan. So it obviously shows that Fulham sees something in him. You don't get extended by Fulham in the English Premier League if they don't see something in you. You know? So I just thought he just didn't look almost comfortable on the day. Like I said, Cornelius was covering for him a little bit. He did make a couple nice plays. I think of that slide tackle early in the first half. It was a very nice slide tackle. But yeah, he wasn't super impressed on the day. But yes, that being said, I do still think he has a very, very bright future. And I do think that you can see the player there. I just don't think it was his day. And like I said, not a disaster class by any means, just not his best. And I kind of want to see as well, side note, I would like to see us play Knight Labelle in the Welsh game. I don't really think he's been given a proper shake of things, so it'd be really cool to see him get a run out against Wales. since we're talking about center backs, I figured I'd throw that in. But yeah, overall, I thought our defense was good. Shut off a few times, which can't have against top level talent, which is a concern moving forward. So yeah, in a sense, just don't shut down, please. But yeah, overall, thought they were good for what they had to do for the most part. Let's move into our midfield. We'll start with Ali Ahmed, since we kind of already discussed Ali Ahmed, so this one might be the shortest of the bunch. I thought he was very good. Thought he was one of our man of the matches. Thought he maybe could have had a few more assists on the day. His free kick was beautiful to set up the David header. It was a great free kick right on the dime. Great distribution on that. He looked eager and willing to take on players. He looked very good on the ball. Like I said, his change of pace is very, very good. And yeah, like I said, was concerned with him being called up, not because of the caliber of player, but just because he's just coming back from an injury. Regardless, he still looked very good and was probably our man of the match. Moving on to the right, Tajon Buchanan, and there is just something so enjoyable about Tajon Buchanan in form. I know he doesn't leave the game with a goal or an assist, and I know that's what everybody cares about. He looked very good on the day, I thought. Anytime he was on the ball, he was causing problems for the Romanian defense. They couldn't handle his pace and his skill, and this is why we need Tajon Buchanan playing all the time, because he is one of our best players. He is so good. I mean, I've been a Tajon Buchanan fan since he really broke out with the national team. So to see him kind of have to rebuild himself has been very good to see, because, you know, some players get shafted a little bit, as Buchanan kind of did at club level. Yeah, Inter, I'm never forgiving you for that, just so you know. I'm sure Inter is terribly upset about that. But some players you see get shafted, and of course he's had to deal with a few injuries as well. And some players you just kind of see they never really get it back. But Tajon Buchanan, this is maybe some of the best he's ever looked. You know, hat trick the other week in La Liga. Now he's looking good with the national team. He has for this whole calendar year, in my opinion. He's looked very good for our national team. And now he just looks such a threat. Like, I know he doesn't leave with a goal or an assist, but he just looked so good on the day. And yeah, really, really happy to see Tajon Buchanan back to his best, because when Tajon Buchanan's back at his best, he's one of our best players at our disposal. Let's move into the midfield. I know I kind of discussed them a little bit as well. Stefan Eustáquio has now been recalled by Wills. I saw that on Twitter via Matthew Shinetti. So he's been recalled. Apparently, there was maybe a knee thing going on, and also it might just be precautionary by Porto. I don't know. Regardless, he won't be available for the next match. But this match, I thought for the most part, he looked quite good. He looked very comfortable in possession, because that's his thing, right? Like, he controls Canada's kind of midfield, our tempo, all that. And he looked good. There was a couple times where I thought he looked sloppy. He was lucky not to be caught out when he literally was on the edge of his 18-yard box and passed the ball right to a Romanian player, and then Romania nearly scores. He's very lucky that he essentially doesn't cost us the goal. But outside of those few times where he did give the ball away, I did think it was a good Stefan Eustáquio performance. He controlled our midfield. He controlled kind of a lot of our tempo. And it was nice to see him kind of get to flurry more forward than I think we have in quite some time. And there was moments where he was more comfortable to carry the ball forward, kind of press into Romania's 18-yard box and try to make stuff happen up there, which I feel like we haven't seen much from Stefan Eustáquio in recent times. So it was kind of nice to see that. And I think it's kind of a part of his game that I would like to see a little bit more of too, just because I think with his distribution as well, you can kind of see him being able to kind of create big chances, get up the field more, do that. So I would like to see that a little bit more. I know he is also like pretty important for us at the other end of the pitch when we need the numbers and whatnot to defend. But yeah, I would like to see him kind of maybe press a little bit more too, like press up. Like, you know, he looked pretty good when he got to. Ishmael Kone, I thought it was a good performance from him. As I said, I just don't think the two complement each other super well, just because they both are possession-based midfielders in a different way, of course. Eustáquio more of like a possession distribution guy. Kone is more of like, give me the ball, I'm going to run and take a few guys out the play kind of thing with like his. I mean, we've all seen it. Kone turning like 3 guys at the same time, then burst forward, then lays the ball off. You know, kind of like a Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if you will. Insane reference, Sam. I know, but yeah, no, They just don't super complement each other well, which is why I think when you're a third midfielder, Sam, that horse is dead and you're still beating it. Yeah, I know. But regardless, I think he looked good on the day. He looked very positive, looked good in possession. His distribution as well, I think, is really improving on Kone. Of course, we can't not mention the little argument that him and Jesse Marsch seem to have on the sideline. I'm not going to make anything of it. I think it was just Jesse Marsch was probably explaining to Kone why he was being pulled off, and Kone, being a competitor, probably wanted to stay on the pitch. That's the story that I think it is. If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. I really don't think it's anything to look into. Honestly, I really don't. I know that a lot of people will probably. I don't think it's much to look into. He's a professional athlete that was just subbed off and was playing well. He wants to stay on and finish the game, especially with Kone, who has found minutes in recent times hard to come by. So yeah, he probably just wanted to play the game. That's what I think it was. Obviously, I don't know. I don't have any sources, but I really don't think it's anything to be writing big puff pieces about, if you will. But yeah, that's how I feel about our midfield. Let's move into our striker partnership. We'll start with my favorite 2025 Ballon d'Or snub, Jonathan David. Yeah, I'm running with that because he was snubbed of a Ballon d'Or nomination. Yeah, I said it. Anyways, I thought he looked good. I mean, Jonathan David for Canada, he just does so much for us. Like, he really does. He's playing as a 6, as an 8, as a 10, and as a 9 all at the same time. The way he reads the game is just so good. He's, in my opinion, top 3 striker in the world. Sam, that's a crazy take. I don't care. I think I genuinely do think he's just that good. He's got that poacher sense about him, but he's also got that build-up number 10 about him. So he's playing like this cool hybrid, and you can just tell that Jesse Marsch just loves coaching Jonathan David. Like, he thrives in this environment. Jonathan David, this is because Jesse Marsch is just telling him, you know what, you're going to be very important for us. And I think Jonathan David knows that, recognizes that. You can see the maturity in Jonathan David when he plays with kids. Not to say he doesn't look mature at club level, because he also does. But you can just see that maturity in him. You really see his caliber of player, I think, with the men's national team, just because he just does so much. I know I say it basically every episode, but he really does look just so good in the red for Canada. And I'm so glad that Jesse Marsch is using him as he's using him. Of course, I do think that does come with a little bit of a downside, because sometimes David isn't in the box for certain things, for certain plays, because he is just so integral to our buildup. But I guess that's maybe kind of the give and take that you have to have if you're going to play him like that. But regardless, I'm glad he got his goal on the day, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him win the Serie A with Juventus this season. Yeah, that's my pick for Serie A league winners, Juventus. David's win the Serie A, and he's winning league MVP. I said it. Tani Oluwaseyi, fresh off of his move to Villarreal. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't think he was great on the day. Not because I thought he was messing up all the time. I just thought he was pretty much a non-factor for most of the day. I didn't really find him making the runs he usually makes. I didn't really find him taking many players out the game. I don't think, speaking of complimenting players well, as Kone and Eustáquio, I don't think complement each other greatly. I don't think Tani really compliments David, and this is where I do think we miss a Kyle Larin. I know everyone hates Kyle Larin. Kyle, I'll always back you. I just think David plays better with Kyle Larin. I think he plays it better with Larin's a classic number 9 poacher, hold up kind of guy. I think that's what you need when you're playing Jonathan David as you're playing him. Yeah, Larin's probably, at this stage in his career, he's probably not scoring goals every other game, But I do think that he offers something that helps enhance Jonathan David. Whereas on this day, it kind of felt like Jonathan David was playing alone up there. It didn't really feel like Oluwaseyi was much of a factor. I know he leads the game with an assist, and that's what everyone cares about. I just thought he was pretty well a non-factor in the game. And I know I feel like I'm pretty positive with Oluseyi. I usually give him credit where it's due because I do think he does a lot on and off the ball. I think he makes good runs. I just think he's quite wasteful in front of goal. But that's another thing that he will need to work on if he's going to be our starting striker going into the World Cup. You cannot be wasteful in front of goal. But yeah, on the day, he didn't really do much. And that's really what I have to say about Tanny. Moving into our substitutes, it was Vancouver for Vancouver, Whitecap for Whitecap. Jaden Nelson came on for Ali Ahmed in the 64th. I thought Nelson looked very good as well. Unlucky, I think, not to leave with a goal. He tries to round the keeper, but just put a little bit too much on it. Would have been really nice to see Nelson get a goal. I'm a big fan of Jaden Nelson. I think he's just kind of similar to Ali Ahmed. He's got that great pace about him, but he's got a great technical side to his game too, where he's got a great bag of tricks and whatnot. And I think you saw it on this day. You saw him thriving in those open spaces that Romania was leaving. He wanted to take guys on. He wanted to get up there in the attack. And like, I really wish he left the game with a goal. And he was wearing my bear, Jonathan Osario's 21. So he had a lot to live up to. But yeah, I thought he looked very, very good. I really hope that he continues on this career trajectory because he's enjoying his best season as a pro ever, and now he's getting those call-ups. I really hope that continues for him. And yeah, just really happy that he got in and he looked positive, and I would be interested to see him start next game. Yeah. At the same time, the best Saliba in world football came in for Ishmael Kone. Yeah, I know what I say. I have a bunch of nicknames for the guys. Saliba, I mean, kind of like Seeger, actually. You just see a player there. You just do. He looks so silky on the ball. He looks so comfortable and confident, even in pressure, even in tight spaces on the field, tight pockets. He just kind of knows how to get in around. Very, very good player. I'm very excited with the Anderlecht move. I'm very excited to see him hopefully become a regular national team call-up as well, just because he's really growing into a very good player, very, very fast. And Montreal fans will have known this for a while. He's looked good for a while, and now it's starting to get recognition, obviously with the move to Belgium and now the national team. Yeah, I think Saliba is going to be very important for us heading into 2026. In the 77th, Promise David came on for Tajon Buchanan. He didn't have a whole ton to do. He didn't have a ton of time to really get into the game, but I like his movement. I really, really hope Jesse Marsch just gives him the keys and let's see what Promise David can do. He's coming off a very hot season and is continuing that form, it looks like, having just scored last weekend. So I would like to see what he can do. If Jesse Marsch allows it to happen, I don't know. But also, in all fairness, Promise David is apparently dealing with a couple of knocks at the moment, which also could be a reason why Promise David wasn't starting. So time will tell, and I hope that Promise David just keeps bagging at club and international level. At the same time, Junior Hoylett came in for Jonathan David. I'm just happy Hoylett's back. I love Junior Hoylett. He still is a player that nobody in our system in Canada can do what he can do. It astonishes me that he's not a regular call-up, and I know he's getting up there in age. He's 35, so that's pretty well old for a professional soccer player. But regardless, I still maintain the fact he's a guy that can give you 20 to 30 minutes at a high level. And he will spot a pass, he will spot a shot, he'll spot something that will change the game. And I'm just happy he's back. He looked good for the 10 minutes he got, and it's another cap for our boy Junior. In the 82nd, Joel Waterman came on for Luc de Fougerolles. Not a whole ton of time to really impress you, but I thought he looked decent. I can't say he looked great. Can't really say he looked bad because he didn't have a whole ton to do. But yeah, he looked good. I will say Derek Cornelius looked a bit more comfortable playing next to Waterman than he did with de Fougerolles. So maybe that's something to keep an eye out. But yeah, I don't have a whole ton to say on Waterman just because, yeah, there wasn't a whole ton of game left when he came in. But it's another cap for him, another CPL alum doing good things. Zorhan Bassong came on for Tani Oluwaseyi in the 82nd. That saw a little bit of a formation change for the last 10 minutes. You saw Bassong play as like a left wing back and Larea play as a right wing back, and we played with 3 center backs, it seemed. Larea played as a center back, as one of the 3 center backs, and Seeger kind of played as a right wing back. My apologies. And then you had Cornelius Waterman and Larea as the 3 center backs. But yeah, Zorhan Bassong, one kind of like Waterman, didn't have a whole ton to do. I'm gonna say it. Maple Footy Podcast is now the home of the Zorhan Bassong fan club. We're the home of a lot of things. The best Saliba in world football, the Liam Miller Hive, the Bear Jonathan Osorio. I feel the Canadian Buffon. I feel like I have other ones. But regardless, now we're also the home of the Zorhan Bassong fan club because I really like Zorhan Bassong. I really do. Every time he comes in, he's playing for the badge, and you can just see it. You can see he is fighting for that World Cup spot. He knows his spot is not a nailed-on guarantee. I really hope he gets selected for the World Cup. I really like him. I think he's a very good player, and you can tell, mix that with how bad he wants it. I really want to see this guy succeed. So yeah, Zorhan Bassong, the Maple Footy Podcast, the new home of the Zorhan Bassong fan club. I really like him, and for the time he got, I thought he looked good, even though it was just about 10 minutes, but I hope he gets the start against Wales, because I like him. But yeah, that wraps up our substitutes. And with that kind of wraps up this episode as well. I'm curious to know what you thought of our game against Romania. If you're listening to this on YouTube, do drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of the game. If you're listening on podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., DM me, Maple Footy Pod, everywhere. Let's hear what you thought about our game against Romania and how you think we're going to fare against Wales. I was wrong about this Romania game when I did our squad breakdown. I had said I thought this was going to be a dull 0-0 draw and we'd get like a big win against Wales. I hope that's not now going to be the opposite. I really hope that we still get that big win against Wales, and we got the big win against Romania. This was anything but a dull 0-0. So I was already wrong about that. With Wales, I will still say we're going to get the win, hopefully. But yeah, outside of that, follow me everywhere that you can. Maple Footy Pod, Sam Lowe 44, all that fun stuff. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the Wales game, and I hope, more importantly, you enjoyed this episode of the Maple Footy Podcast. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for putting the time aside to do so. I do appreciate it. And until next time, cheers, everyone.
And that was your Maple Footy Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check my socials for any and all future updates. Remember to support Canadian football, be kind, and until next time, live, laugh, little.